Hey, how are we doing today? Welcome back to the channel. And of course, I couldn't let you go throughout the weekend without giving you guys my thoughts on Moana 2, the sequel to the very popular 2016 Disney classic, directed by David Derrick, Jason Hand, Dana Ledoux-Miller, and of course, once again, starring Auli'i Cravalho and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And this picks up a few years after the last one left off, because apparently the chicken's still alive. And it basically follows Moana as she has to venture forth out from the reef once again to save her island and make sure that she can find more wayfarers along the way. Now, that may sound a little familiar to you, and I assure you that's because it is. So let me say a few things about this movie before I really dig into the meat and potatoes, if you will. This film looks absolutely gorgeous. Disney as well as Pixar, but Disney especially, has been impressing to just the levels of, I wouldn't say photorealism, because they aren't quite on the same level as Pixar, but it's pretty damn close, and it is just so absolutely dazzling to look at. All these environments, the waves, the sand, everything that you can think of is just so tactile here, and really feels like you can be thrown into the space yourself, even though this is an animated film. And I really love this from an animation standpoint. I think the voice acting is, done very well, especially Cravalho and Dwayne Johnson, who are, seasoned veterans at these characters at this point, and I think their dynamic really does work overall. And also, I have to give a shout out to Moana's little sister in this, because, oh my goodness, just absolute cuteness overload. She is easily the best part of this movie, and like, just a couple scenes between her and her sister, I was like on the verge of tears, because I'm like, this girl is just so damn adorable. I can't take it. But yeah, she was so great in this film. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this movie is basically, okay, let's do Moana over again, reskin it, done, there you go. And yeah, it's pretty obvious, because this was originally supposed to be a TV series, and I think they compartmentalized it well into a full-length narrative, but there isn't really one to speak of, and I think whenever this movie does take a bold risk or narrative decision, they completely just undo it, like a scene later, and it really doesn't lead to any sort of interesting conflict whatsoever. And it really just makes me feel empty inside. That's how I felt watching a lot of this movie, because the writing is just not there. And speaking of the writing, there's no Lin-Manuel Miranda writing these songs, because you look at the first one, you have How Far I'll Go, You're Welcome. There's so many that are just so iconic within the review of the canon of Disney music at this point. And I know he's on a little bit of a downslide lately when it comes to writing some of these songs for these Disney projects, but whew, I think we're all missing Lin right now. Because, my goodness, these songs, they ain't it. Literally in the theater, I was sitting right next to my mom, and there was this one song that Maui gets to sing, if you even want to call it singing. And I was like, that was horrible. And she just says to me, I know. So, yeah, that says a lot right there. I think this is not hitting for anyone. I would be shocked if these songs are working on any audience member. I mean, maybe some can get by, but yeah, why? I mean, why are you going to accept this? I mean, it's just not good at all. Very uninspired, very bland melodies, and also just some terrible lyrics to go along with some of these songs. It is really a far cry from what Lin-Manuel Miranda did with the first one, and you really sorely feel the absence of his presence in this film. Also, I'm not really a huge fan of a lot of the new characters, because there isn't really much dimension to them. There's this builder of these boats, and she kind of gets grating at certain points, and then there's this other guy who's like, I think his name's Lato, and he's like a Maui fanboy, and he just absolutely gets on my nerves and is just very grating. And then there's an old man who's kind of funny. I don't know, there isn't really a whole lot besides Moana's little sister, who's just absolutely adorable. And yeah, I don't really think there's much to latch on to this movie at all. Had it gone to really stick a lot of the narrative decisions that I was hoping it would, I think it would have made a little bit more of an impact. But this really does fall flat. Look, it's not devoid of great moments here or there, but overall, this is just a very bland, uninspiring sequel. And it's kind of sad that it's doing as well as it is. I mean, our theater was packed to the brim, and there were so many kids there. But of course, this was like the day before Thanksgiving. It was the first day the kids were out. You know, so of course it was going to be a little bit stuffed. But I know this film is doing very well at the box office, and this is another example of how Disney can just get away with, you know, throwing a lackluster follow-up to one of their classic films and making a lot of money off of it. And look, yeah, I'm guilty. I went. All right, sue me. But the thing is, I still think I have the right to complain about it, that I did. And yeah, it really just was exactly what I was expecting. A very middling sequel that isn't really worth your time overall. I think there might be some interesting things to explore in the future, but, you know, actually write a script first. Don't make it a television series, because then maybe you can actually, you know, really cobble something great together. And if they do Moana 3, which I'm sure they will, considering how successful this one is going to do, and hell, they're doing Frozen 3, okay? And the Frozen movies aren't even that great. At least the first Moana movie, I think, is one of Disney's absolute best films. So I don't know. I really hope that they get it together for the next one, and that they bring Lin-Manuel back, because we really, really need all the great ingredients to make another great Moana film. Because this really isn't it. And I'm going to give Moana 2 a 5.5 out of 10. Yet again, you know, it's not bad by any means. Just really nothing that should be out in theaters in its present form as it is. This could have been a lot better, but, you know, what can you really expect at this point from Disney? I'm expecting almost the same with Mufasa when that comes out. I don't even know if I'm going to review that. But if I hear it's good, I'll go see it. You know, why not? But anyways, let me know what you thought about Moana 2. Do you agree with what I'm saying, or did you think this was a great sequel? And please tell me why, because I really, really do want to understand why you enjoyed it. And yeah, of course, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. More reviews like this coming soon, hopefully more positive ones though, and until then, I will talk to you guys later.